Obviously, China is, incredibly important. It's the largest trading partner of the United States, depending on when you count things and how you count them. And obviously, both candidates in this election are talking a lot about China. The president has made it one of his, campaign platforms that he's governed on as being very tough on China. And Joe Biden has essentially done the same thing. And so, in terms of substance of what both candidates are talking about, everyone is saying we need to be tough on China. Of course, the Trump administration has done a number of aggressive moves toward arguably what he argues is toward curbing China's influence and unfair trade practices. So, of course, there's the ongoing trade war with China. There have also been a number of sanctions on Chinese companies. More recently, there's been the forced sale of the TikTok internet service. I guess that's still, when we're making this video, that's still ongoing, but it's basically that the Trump administration has forced a sale of TikTok's American assets to a U.S. company, probably Oracle. In that case, the Trump administration has really gone after China, and he's made it a big part of his campaign rhetoric. Joe Biden hasn't had the same kind of anti-China rhetoric, but it's clear from his policy papers and some of the statements that he's made on the trail that he also considers it time for U.S. policy toward China to change. And so in that respect, both candidates, there's not a lot of daylight between the two candidates. They're both arguing that China is being unfair in its trade practices, right? That China is being too aggressive around the world. And so in that sense, both candidates have gone after China. In terms of the trade war, it obviously has affected us in Iowa a great deal. Of course, China is a very large purchaser of American agricultural products, in particular things like soybeans and corn and hogs. The Chinese word for meat, if you just unspecified what kind of meat it is, it's always pork. The Chinese love pork, they eat a lot of pigs, right? And obviously that's big news for Iowa farmers. The trade war cut some of those exports, those agricultural exports, and on top of everything else that's hit Iowa farmers this year, it's been tough for them. The Trump administration has a supposed trade deal with China, but the Chinese haven't really been following through. So as of last month, China has purchased only about a third of what they promised to this year, and so Iowa farmers are still not likely to get a lot of relief from that trade deal because the Chinese, although they've agreed to it, at least in theory, in practice haven't followed through by purchasing things. And of course, Iowa being at least a partial swing state, and other farm states in the Midwest, and the upper Midwest in particular, being very important presidential states, right? There's going to be a lot of attention on agricultural issues and the trade deal. And so far, the Chinese haven't followed their commitments.